Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
Well, hello, good afternoon. Hope you have had a great week, and welcome to the Educated Retirement Show here on KMET, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. And, we'll remember we're always saying now to absolutely meet retirement needs, top off your tank to make it all the way to where you are going. So please call, email, or visit. What we just talk about, just please do that, and we can talk about some options. So here's that phone number once again. All right, 866-955-2233. It shows up behind me here, but I know that there's a light we need to... Oh, it looks pretty good today, actually, doesn't it? 866-955-2233, and my website is DRHECM for Dr. Heckham. And home equity conversion mortgage, or of course you can just go to theeducatedretirement.com. And remember that knowledge is power, and when you jump over there to that website, be sure to look at some of the items there. We've got most of the shows on YouTube. There's a connection right there. And so subscribe. While you're there, subscribe, please. Makes me look good, you know what I mean? And makes you look educated. No, I don't know whether it does or not, but it helps me. And since I want to help you, help me. My day job is at the Loan Source, NMLS number 384565, Department of Real Estate. It is 792-630, and you know I don't sell real estate, but I stay on top of those things. And let me give another shout out to Daryl McCants, who does recognize this show, my show, on all of his shows, the California Business Report that he shares with Yvette Walker. And it is on 4 p.m. on Tuesdays. And I believe, and you can correct me, Sean, if I'm discorrect, Ron Siegel is on 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday, also a good friend. And someone we like to plug, not full of holes. I mean, just give a shout out to. And I'm on his show. I don't know, I'm on in 2 weeks ago, and I was on last week. It was a really good show. So let's get into our normal nostalgic thingies. And what is today? Something Ron and I both would like to honor. In fact, I'd like to be honoring it right now, but I'm not. And that is National Hamburger Day, to honor America's favorite sandwich. Now, Sean, do you like hamburgers or hot dogs, or does it matter?
I like both.
Yeah, okay. Well, so do I. I think the hot dog is kind of underexpressed, but anyway. And this day ushers in also the summer grilling season. And of course, we've got Memorial Day. And that kind of has something to do with hot dogs, in my case, hamburgers, ribs. Now that's a good thing to barbecue. Anyway, it said that a guy by the name of Oscar Weber Bilby, B-I-L-B-Y, was the first person to serve a real hamburger in 1891, when ground beef was served on homemade buns at a 4th of July party near Tulsa, Oklahoma, which has given Tulsa the claim of the real birthplace of the hamburger. I guess I didn't know that before. Maybe I still don't, but that's it. Now here's another one, also meat oriented, and something that I'm sure Ron would love along with me. In fact, maybe dinner. Anyway, National Brisket Day. So if you are a meat eater, chances are you enjoy a great yummy brisket. You have and you will. It's a day to prepare that delicious brisket, which is popular not only in Texas culture, but popular in Britain, Germany, Jewish cooking, Korean cuisine, Hong Kong, New Zealand, and the Pakistani menu as well. Ways of cooking and seasoning differs, but always delicious if cooked right. Always delicious, period. I was going to say something here about the financing and the phone. It says, hi, Jay. So I got this off of a website, and I can't remember who right now, but, it's content that matters, right? Right. Financial insecurity and increasing costs of living, whether it's home maintenance and utilities or mortgage and rent payments, can make affording to age in place harder for seniors. I think I probably got this from Reverse Focus and Shannon Hicks, but that's okay. Thank you, Shannon. Currently, the number of cost-burdening older households, meaning those spending 30% or more of their income on housing, is at an all-time high of 10.2 million. That's a lot, more than 30% of their income on housing, be that rent, and of course rent has gone up with everything else, or just the burden of owning a home. Cost-burdened seniors must make difficult trade-offs in the way they live, forcing them into a position in which they might have to spend less on food or emergency expenses in order to afford housing payments. Now, I'm still quoting here. So the number of seniors facing these challenges is far too high. So there. Yes, it did come from Shannon Hicks, I believe, one of his podcasts or video casts. So I just want to make that clear. Now, that also has to do with talking about reverse mortgages, obviously, because how do you make sure you don't have these problems? You get a reverse mortgage, which in effect is a regular mortgage, except safer. And it just has an add-on for the ability to get yourself or increase a line of credit, which should overcome any inflation, and keep your equity also, because the values of the homes are going up much faster than the interest rates, and the value of your home is this big, and the loan is that big. So you can figure that out pretty easily. You are not going to lose equity. And in fact, you're probably going to increase legacy. So there. So I wanted to make sure I talked about that, but I don't want it to sound like, a reverse mortgage is only for people with a problem. It's not. It should be a part of everyone's financial plans. It should be a strategy in their plans. So, manage insurance also to offset your heirs' tax burdens. And taxes are going to undoubtedly be going up. So I'm going to just go on now because we've got a lot. We've got some great guests coming back from Golden Years. And what do we do here? We believe in challenging the status quo, and we believe that people and families need to be active, not reactive. So back to our nostalgia. Well, no, back to a cup of coffee first. I hope I'm not slurping too much over the radio. Whose birthday is it today? Ian Fleming. And Ian popped in 1908 and left us in 1964. How about a picture or two? Look how properly British he looks there, right? Is that proper or not? And I think it's a cigarette. I was hoping it was a cigar, but you know. And here's another picture showing him. And he's still, boy, is that British looking. And a copy of Casino Royale in his hand, as if he's never read it before. And so anyway, Ian Fleming was a British writer, journalist, and naval intelligence officer, best known for his James Bond spy novels. Ian Lancaster Fleming was born in the wealthy district of Mayfair. His father was a member of Parliament, and Ian's grandfather was a Scottish financier who co-founded an investment company and a merchant bank, so he was pretty well off. After attending a few preparatory schools, Munich University and University of Geneva, he went into banking and also worked as a stockbroker and was not successful at either one. With all of those genes he has from his father and grandfather, you'd think he would be. In 1939, he was recruited by the Royal Navy. Later, Fleming became the foreign manager of a British newspaper in 1945. His role was to oversee the paper's worldwide network of correspondents, so he got a pretty big-time job there. Fleming continued to work for the paper full-time and took 3 months holiday every winter. Not bad again, which was in his contract, and he took them always in Jamaica. So Ian always wanted to write a spy novel, which he did in 2 months, and that was Casino Royale in 1952, and was published the following year. Just for the heck of it, we'll throw this up first, although this normally would come later. And this is the kind of comedy version with Peter Sellers, Ursula Andress, David Niven, Joanne, Orson Welles was in it, and of course Woody Allen, Deborah Carr, William Holden, John Huston, Charles Boyer. It goes on and on, but that's okay. The main character, James Bond, was named after an American ornithologist, which is a bird lover, a bird watcher, and expert on Caribbean birds. Fleming was himself an avid bird watcher, and he said that he wanted Bond to be an uninteresting man, right? And to whom things happen to. Uninteresting man, but things happen to him. Okay. Wanting Bond to be a blunt instrument. He said he thought that name was the dullest name he had ever heard. I guess that will change that name in history forever. Fleming based his creation on individuals he met during the war, as well as a spy he had met while skiing in Austria. And he wanted Bond to resemble the composer and singer Hoagy Carmichael. And I guess I should have had a picture of him and everything, but I think you can remember Hoagy Carmichael and Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and that kind of. But, every picture I saw of Hoagy, he was at a piano. So there were 12 Bond novels and 2 short story collections, and they were published between 1953 and 1966, including the children's book Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And I'll show you that now. Of course, that was a film. And there's some pretty neat pictures on the back, so let's take a look at it. And, Dick Van Dyke, Sally Ann Howes, Lionel Jeffries, and there you go. So there. And they're all written, all of these books were written as the Jamaican home in Goldeneye. So that's where that name comes from also. And that was a movie, but Goldeneye had a whole different thing to it. So almost 30 James Bond films have been released, and 7 actors have played James Bond. Sean Connery, David Niven, George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig. Do you have a favorite, Sean?
Sean Connery.
You know what? I think that's everyone's favorite. Me too. When they went to the Roger Moore era, those were pretty interesting films, but they were so far way out there. But they were cool. But yeah, Sean Connery, and unfortunately he passed not too long ago. So here's a short list of James Bond films. Dr. No, and From Russia with Love. Here's From Russia with Love. I think I showed you these before. Now I'm saving these. These are the older Criterion ones that have a great audio commentary that became illegal to use for whatever reason. So, but I have them anyway. And there you go. And those commentaries were on these 3, From Russia with Love also. So it's just those 3 that they were on. Then we go on to Goldfinger. Oh, excuse me. And I know I've got it here somewhere, but whatever. I showed it. Okay, Thunderball. Thunderball won Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. Okay. There it was. And then we have You Only Live Twice, Casino Royale, in I showed you that already, with David Niven, Peter Sellers, and also had, who wrote the music for that again? Kathleen, can you find that again?
Which one?
Casino Royale. But of course it had that and of course the Tijuana Brass was part of the music there. And it's who I thought it was, Burt Bacharach. And Dusty Springfield had that big hit of The Look of Love, which ended, the end of which was the Tijuana Brass popping up. Diamonds Are Forever, and Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, Moonraker. Now, Moonraker is right here, and I love this one. We were talking about how far out they can go on these that starred Roger Moore, and of course Moonraker had a lot of outer space in it, and of course the guy with the teeth. But just as a side note, the music on there,
Richard Keel.
Yeah, Richard Keel. The music that was written by John Barry.
His name was Jaws.
Or Jaws, yeah. I mean, if you want to hear, a Moonraker has a beautiful soundtrack, but it's the same as this one, Out of Africa. And it's the same as this one, Somewhere in Time. So that was kind of interesting that but so be it. It was really beautiful, so let it go on and on. Octopussy, and that was also Roger Moore. And Skyfall in 2013 won 2 Academy Awards, Best Original Song, Best Sound Editing. And before we go into more sound about Danny Elfman, we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back with our guests from Golden Years. So don't go away. Thanks so much. Take care. Hello again, and welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio, where we contemplate retirement and how to best stay retired, even if you're not yet retired. Like I'm not. But we've got two great guests, which are repeat offenders. They were on in April, so we hope to have them on uh, a whole lot more, and we can talk about that if we have time. But if not, we'll still talk about that in the near future. But I'm going to go directly to them to let them introduce themselves and take it away. Doctors, they're both doctors, one way or the other. But I think the one that's got the cough is the medical doctor, correct?
No,
Go ahead, doctor.
I'm the medical doctor. So I'm Dr. Shamsian.
Yeah.
I'm.
We call him Dr. Arash.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Well, okay. Well, then you do know who to go to when you have a cough, right?
Yes, that's
No.
why it's not helping.
Okay, and you know I try to talk too much, so let me quiet down again and let you guys take over again in your introduction. Sorry about that.
So hi, my name is Dr. Shamsian. I'm a part CEO of Golden Years Hospice Care. I help coordinate all the issues that we have with patient satisfaction and try to make sure that we are addressing every single problem. We try to follow our motto of bringing hope, compassion, and family together. So part of that is working with our team to make sure that we offer our services completely to everyone.
And I'm Benam Qassemi Najad. They call me by Mr. B. And I'm the managing director for the agencies, including Golden Years Hospice, that and palliative care company that we have here to take care of our clients, patients.
Thank you so much. And one thing I would like you to say again is because, I used to hear that word hospice, and my God, it was like a death sentence. But you guys both explained how that really isn't always the case, and what a patient should do when they get to that point. So go ahead and try to say that again.
So I think the appropriate answer, or the proper perspective to put into perspective, is instead of getting caught in terminology or names, I think the most important thing to get really concentrating on is basically quality of life. And what is enjoying a good quality of life. And to me, that is a life that is full of purpose, full of meaning, convenience, and care, and enjoyment. And all of those things, regardless of what box somebody is trying to put someone in, the end of the day is the quality of the care that is paramount to us. And that's why I got started with it, because that was the intention of mine, to make sure that anyone that we get to see or touch, that's with the purpose of providing them with the best quality of care, regardless of whatever time that we have on this earth. Regardless of someone, I think we joked about it yesterday, Jerry, that just because you get the bad news, sometimes you have to put that bad news into perspective. I think there was one person that you mentioned to me that, we're sorry, we have bad news. You have a few months to live. You have cancer, and then that person is still running around 34 years later. So,
yes.
So what that brings into play again is, just because someone says something doesn't mean that we need to dig ourselves a grave and say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to live today. I'm not going to see nurses or doctors or Maybe we should not go stand in lines of whatever pharmacy to pick up our medication if the agency can bring it to us. Maybe we don't need to go stand up in lines and worry about masks and things like that going to a hospital when a doctor or a nurse can come to our home. Maybe they can provide us with insured or supplies or whatever, a medical bed, cane, rollator, you name it, that all of those things that a lot of our brothers and sisters out there have earned throughout their life of work, that whether it is through their insurance on the Medi-Cal or through Medicare, the compensation is something that they've earned, that allows us to take care of them. So for us, and some of it may or may not even be the hospice that we talked about. Some of it could be as a home health. Some of it can be as a palliative care. So we don't like to get too caught up in the semantics of what is or what isn't, but get more focused in what what program they would qualify for and what would be the best quality of care that can be provided to them. So that's what I wanted to mention as to what we're hoping to provide to your listeners.
Right. And if you ever are in hospice care, first of all, if it's recommended to you, you need to get that kind of care, because that's the care that's going to keep you living and keep you living in the best way and the best quality of life for the longest period of time, which is what we're all really looking for, no matter what our age is. Now, you had mentioned palliative care, and I never knew last time what the difference was. But you offer that. So since
Yes.
you offer that, tell us about that, please.
You want to talk about it, Arash?
So palliative care is when you have a chronic condition, and you need help, but you're willing to fight for your health to get better. In a sense, it seems like it's hospice care, but it's not hospice care, because you have to be willing to get the treatment. The best example for this would be if someone has cancer. If you have cancer, that doesn't mean it's a terminal illness that you're going to die.
No.
If you need help, we can put you in palliative care, but you have to be willing to get therapy for it. You have to be willing to fight for your life. You have to have the will to say, yes, I want chemotherapy, I want radiation, but I also want to live, but I need that extra help. And that's part of palliative care, is where we still build a team for you. We have the nurses that come there to make sure you're okay. Going through hard times like, cancer is a good example to remind you that you're not alone, that we're here for you. We're here to hold your hand, to be there for you as a support system, be there for the family, be there for the patients, make sure that they understand that they're going through this hard time, but with someone else. They're not alone in this world. And that's why we have that palliative care program.
But it's also important to say that these decisions are highly individual decisions. We're not here to judge who is or who isn't going to do what sort of that you have to have chemotherapy, or you have to do this type of a treatment or that type of a treatment. What we argue very strongly is to be there as your partner, along with your family, to provide you with the best quality of care, best quality of life. With whatever decision that you make, we have the ability, we're licensed for the state of California. We have patients that are from San Diego, San Ysidro, Chula Vista, and then all the way up to Los Angeles, Orange County, Irvine, Ventura, Oxnard, all the way up to Bakersfield and beyond. So we do have the ability, and we have the staff in place that can come and take care of you. Be there for you. But we took that one step further, because if you take the idea of the quality of care, the other discussion that Jerry, that you and we had yesterday was that as you've heard the sentence before, it takes the village to take care of a child. In this case, it takes a village to take care of each other, or an adult or someone who is in need of help. And then we've formed partnerships. We don't provide everything for someone. We have partners that provide with estate planning. We have partners that provide with decision making with regards to mortuary. I remember when I was a young child, my parents that at the time were 40 years old showed me that they had they picked their plots and so forth. They didn't die for another 40 years later, but they had planning. So we have partners that for as little as 1890, that we also have that in our brochures, that can provide them with with the time, when the time comes, that they can provide them and their family. So we have partners that what else besides
Caregiving. Caregivers.
Oh, caregivers, private caregivers through One Heart Agency, who were kind enough to introduce your radio station to us, that should they need a more of around-the-clock care at their home. We have partners that, I don't know, let me think about it, that are in reverse mortgage type business that can help them provide them with funding while they're alive. Thank you, Jerry. I think I was referring to your company. While they're alive. Our whole point is you need to live. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be planning. You can plan for the future, and you can plan for the present. And you should take care of whatever resources are available to you, so that maybe you can take some of the burden off of your children when you're alive. And we're here to help your listeners. And the other thing I forgot to tell you, I don't know if you mentioned it before I did, that I'm not sure if your listeners are going to be calling in, but one of the things we told you yesterday is that every third caller that calls your station, we're going to offer them a $50 gift certificate just for calling and asking us questions. Dr. Arash can answer some questions that may be related to medical questions. And you and I, Jerry, and Dr. Arash can talk about what we're talking about, some of the other partners or palliative or whatever services would be available to them.
Yeah, and that's part of that expansion program I was hinting at earlier that we were going to try to talk about. And as you know, we talk about being prepared for retirement. And as you get older, you need to be prepared for all of these things. You don't want to burden your children, but you don't want to have to keep thinking about these things over and over and over again either. You want to get done. You want to get them out of the way. And as you prepare for retirement, you want to get, financial situation as best you can. And you want to get all these other things out of the way. And by the way, that phone number to call in is 951-922-3532, 951-922-3532. And, whether it's this time or in the future, because these gentlemen will be back, these doctors will be back several times. But what you really want to do, and I hate to take up a lot of time with me talking, is, yes, being financially set for, and I don't mean rich, but I mean secure for your retirement is very important. And at the same time, you want to get all your health issues taken care of well in advance. And, I would think doing it the sooner, the better, because then you don't have to, when it comes to like hospice care, you want to, sometimes people don't want to think about that when it comes to burials and burial services and the services that you will need, like it or not, you will need it. It's not just not burdening your children, it's get it done and out of the way. You don't want to keep thinking about it, just do it. And
Jay, while you're on that subject that you talked about the burial services or the plot services, some of the things that we did for I'm not necessarily saying for your listeners, but in general for our potential of our clients or potential clients, was that we negotiated with our partners the best deal we could. For example, the average cost of burial is $9,000.
And
The
that's
company
only
that
average. Yeah, I
and that's
haven't seen it
average.
that small in a while, but yeah.
But we were able to negotiate half that price, Jay. That this company will do as little as 4,500, that they can provide them with that care, and then of course cremation at 1890. But again, these decision makings and discussions could be had now rather
Right,
than later. The
right.
sooner the better.
We always say we don't want to burden our kids, but you know what? We don't want to burden ourselves with that either.
Correct.
Get it done, and and that has to do with getting a trust and having an attorney on your board of directors.
And we
It
do.
it means having in-home care person ready to go. You don't want to wait until you're 80 years old and fall down and break a hip before you look for who you're going to use for in-home care. I recommend you don't go to Craigslist, but the other thing is you need to talk to people now. You need to do the interviewing. You want to interview the people that are going to be your healthcare givers because it's going to happen one of these days if you're successful. If you're successful in living longer, then you're going to need that. And those are the people too that will help you for, say, a nursing home if that's needed. We hope it isn't. But you need to know the in-home care people will be able to help you with that if that time comes. You need an attorney to call now to make sure that you've got a trust, because in California it takes at least 3 years of nightmare for your children to go through for
Probate.
probate. So you want to get these things out of the way. You need to talk to me, by the way, about some of the finance things, and you need to talk to other financial planners. And these gentlemen here
So,
get
Jay, one of the questions I had for you yesterday was what you did, and I asked you to describe to me how you could be helpful to some of our clients, homeowners that have spent years of their life building equity on their homes, because we wanted to add you to our board of directors that we can introduce and refer to our either to your listeners or to our patients
right.
or patients. Can you talk about that a little bit? How can we be
Absolutely,
helpful to
but
someone?
before I do that, since we're more than halfway through, just want to take, and we'll do this again. Let's take a quick break and give out all of your income. No, all of your uh, information, contact information.
Sure. Go
So
ahead.
we have a website. It's called goldenyearshospice.com. You can find on that website our phone number, our email address if you want to email us. Our email is info@goldenyearshospice.com. We have an 800 number that you can call us directly. That's 1-888-909-3227. 888-909-3227.
And there's no charge for our services, by the way.
So that's kind of like the next question would be, is because we're talking about all these finances and we're talking about how much, we have to worry about all this and all the costs. The biggest thing that people should keep in mind is that hospice care is absolutely free. Palliative care is absolutely free. You do not
Home
have
health.
you do not have to pay for any of this stuff. Home health is absolutely free. It's all covered part of your Medicare. So you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. You don't have to worry about how much is it going to cost. Well, this sounds wonderful. I get help. I get a doctor that can come and visit. I get a nurse that can come and visit. They can help me with my medications. They can help me
Right.
with supplies. But how much does this cost? So I want everybody to realize that it doesn't cost anything. It's part of your Medicare package deal. So once you hit 65 and older, you have that automatically. You're already enrolled in it. It's part of the plan so you don't have to worry about any of these other stuff.
Absolutely.
One of the
Well,
things that we like to say that separates us from maybe other agencies is that they provide a service. I'm sure some of them provide great service, and but for us, we pride ourselves with providing them with more than that. And like I said, we provide them with other options. We assist them, and then we try to help them. We put them in charge of their life, and then we try to provide them with the best quality of care and quality of life that we can give them. And that's what we think is the biggest differentiator between us and the and whatever else
Right.
companies out there.
And that's why people need to call you, and they need to call you now, not later. And you know, as I say at the beginning of every show, at the beginning of the second hour or whatever, we try to get you prepared for retirement and how to best stay retired. And to do that, you need to have a handle on all these services. And what we would like to provide you, our listeners, is a way to do that with getting your trust, getting the burial stuff out of the way. Just get it out of the way. Get the in-home care lined up and get your, make those calls, get the hospice and palliative care taken care of with these gentlemen. And lastly, that we know of, because I haven't been there yet, but as far as we know, the last service you'll need is the the burial and the funeral services. Get all of that out of the way, and we have a way of getting you in contact with every one of those items and every step along the way, and it is so important.
Well, that's why I want to reiterate why Golden Years Hospice Care, because we can offer you or connect you with all those services. So you don't have to, someone doesn't have to worry about all these other services. What do I need? What do I need to worry about? They just call us, and then we can give them all the information. We'll tell them, you need to worry about this. You need to have this done. Would you like to have this done? So the whole point of it is I don't want people to worry about this extra step of like, do I need to call, my estate planner? Do I need to do this? What else do I need to do? Like, what are everything? Instead of going all over the place, we try to make it easy.
And honest, John, a couple of things that's very important to talk about is that Golden Years is a preferred vendor with Cedars-Sinai. We've actually gone through the auditing with them. We provided them with our company information, and we're one of the very few that we're very proud to be part of that famous hospital.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that other than that is that we provide with a lot of the discussions that we have, Jay, is not a lot of times is not even with the let's say with the 80, 90, sometimes we even had a 102-year-old. Sometimes it's with the children, and then so we're discussing our explanation of benefits with the family. A lot of times they make us part of that family discussion, so that they can and sometimes they thank us for the dialogue, and then they'll they get back to us, and then that's really all we're doing. We're just relaying the information to the family and try to provide them with some of the benefits that may be available that they didn't know, and how we can become part of that discussion and help them make the best decision, whether it is the patient himself or herself for themselves, or a family, the children that are trying to assist and help with the parents at that point.
Absolutely. And whether you call in now or what, let me say that that offer for the $50 gift certificate will go on, at least on my part, whether you call me, email me, or these gentlemen here directly.
Absolutely.
We'll make sure that still happens. Mostly it's an incentive, but the real incentive is to make sure that you are prepared and you have put this stuff behind you. Take half a day or what, just to call, set up appointments. If you like, you can, I'm sure, visit these people. You at least talk to not only our guests here today at Golden Years, but an attorney. Make sure you've got an estate attorney. Now, your state does just because the word estate is in there doesn't mean you have to be worth millions. You can have, you don't even need to own a property. You should have, you need to know what's going to go on between you and the next generation, just like what happened between the last generation and you. And the last generation, in my case, was very prepared. She would tell me where all her paperwork was for the funeral and this and that, like 3 times a week until I was crazy. But you don't have to be that way either. But you do have to be set up for this. That's the best way to be prepared for retirement. The best way to be for retirement to continue. It's most people think of the financial part of it, and yeah, that's important. Of course, it is. But this is just as important, and you just need to do it and get it done. And these gentlemen here are a very good start, and the others. And, call them, call me. And we have a lot of these people as guests on the show, but we'll start putting together lists, and I'll show them to you and get the phone numbers out for you. And whether that's a financial planner, I don't care how much money you've got, you should talk to somebody about that kind of planning. And then, in-home care, out-of-the-home care, palliative, of course, and just on to the part which you have to pay for is because I think whatever the government's going to pay you, $50 or something like that towards it. You need to get it set up now. You don't want to burden your children. You know what? Most importantly, burden yourself either. Just get it done. And we're going to help you do that. So call the gentleman here, call me, and the other people. We're going to put together that list for you. And at the top of the list, these two doctors, they're both doctors, by the way, and but they're doctors that cover a whole lot, not just medical. And Dr. Arash is going to be able to answer some medical questions for you. Of course, you should always see a doctor, but there's always there's call-in. I'm surprised how many call-in doctors there are and doctors on the internet that, so yeah, that should be fine. But how often do you get a doctor to come to your home? When I was a kid, that used to be normal. It ain't normal no more. But if you're in palliative care or hospice care, it will be normal again. So again, quality of life comes to the very top. And you know what? I don't believe the time went by so fast. We're going to have you back again very, very soon. And we have 1 minute left, so go ahead with your contact information for that last.
So our website is goldenyearshospice.com. You can Google us. You can find us there. Our phone number is 888-909-3227. 888-909-3227. Feel free to call us, email us, reach out to us any way you can, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Everybody stay safe. We're here to help you. We're here to make sure you have a healthy life. And, during these hard times, we want to make sure that you're not suffering. And that's what the hospice care is all about, to make sure you're not suffering. Your quality of life stays up there and you're happy.
And I'll tell you, there are two nicer guys to talk to you won't be able to find.
Thank you.
Don't think that, it's a formal situation. And I hear the music and the hook is out to pull me off stage. So thank you guys so much. And we'll
Thank
talk-
you, Jay. Happy Memorial to everyone.
Bye. Bye.